Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here. Welcome back to the Workbench. And today I'm looking at something that I actually created myself. But I realise that although I wrote these books about 18 months ago, I actually neglected to basically show anyone. So here is a very long belated video on the essential workbench companions that I have written. So join me as I take a brief look through these books that I've written and how you can get your hands on them if you'd like to have them on your workbench. So first up, as you can see, there's three of them, and they each have their own kind of purpose. So the first one is the blue one, and what I've done is I've designed them to have bespoke solid colors so that you can easily identify on the workbench which one you may need to grab hold of for your specific thing that you're doing. On the back, there is some information about what the book is for. This one is a specially formatted book, which is just it's a notebook, essentially. So you can see I've got a copyright date of 2023 on there, which is when I originally wrote these. And it is exactly as it says on the tin. I think I put a little bit of a blurb in the beginning. They're essential companion for every workbench, but this is just a straight up notebook, and you can fill it up with anything that you want to fill it up with. I have put a little bit of extra stuff in the back, so in there you can keep diary information, like dates and things, or important names and addresses that may be pertinent to you whilst you're doing your modelling. And then on the back, there's a little bit of a sort of history about why I wrote these, and also the other two books that also exist. So yeah, that was quite good fun. That one there, you can just fill it up with anything that you want to fill up with notes wise. I find it quite handy to have a bit of paper on the desk and write in it, just to keep a track of, I don't know, paint ratios, or if I need to do something, or if something was a certain measurement. I would say though, if you are going to write in these books, the paper that Amazon have used, although it's quite nice, like a pencil or a biro is the best kind of pen to use. If you use something like a fountain or a gel pen, it tends to run a little bit. I'll look at the journal last because that one's my favorite. So here we've got a logbook, and it's the same kind of deal, exactly the same kind of format, a little bit of a blurb on it. But in this one, I've designed this one, so it does tell you about the book if you read the introduction. But in this, it's like a stash log. You can keep track of all of the stuff that you have. So what is the kit, who made it, what the item code is, how much the RRP was, how much you paid for it, and when you bought it. And then you can write down when you do build it, if have you finished it, when did you finish it, and you can put in notes there, like for example, did you buy aftermarket decals for it, have you put them in the box, have you put something somewhere else. So there's loads of these, and you go through and you can write in all the kits that you purchase. Naturally, if you've got a massive stash, this should be quite an endeavor. But about halfway into the book, we then come into the paint log. And I designed it to be about halfway into the book so that you'd sort of flick to it quite easily. So in here, you can keep a log of all of the different paints that you currently have in the stash. So like, this is the perfect size. You can put this in a pocket, take it to like your model shop with you, and you'll already know what you've already got in your paint stash. So you don't have to buy repeats if you don't want to. But with that in mind, you can also, sort of towards the end of the book, there's a wish list, and you can put in there what you want. And what you could do, if you really wanted to, is cut out these pages and give them to a family member and say, hey, this is my wish list. That's Christmas and birthday sorted. And then just a little bit further in, when you go shopping, if you wanted something specific, you can take half of the page out. So I've put a little cutting line here. So if you cut along there, take that bit of the page out, take it to the shop. It is double-sided. And then you can use that as your shopping list. So that was pretty fun. And then just towards the back, you can have a little bit of extra notes if you needed to. And once again, I've put some little bit of a blurb in there as well. This one in particular does have some blank notes pages. So if you need to do sketches without lines, that's in there as well. So that's quite a universal sort of purpose book to keep track of everything. But this is the one I use like the most. This is the one I have on my workbench all the time. This is the journal. So just to recap, the notebook is pretty much what it says on the tin. It's a notebook. The logbook is where you keep track of everything you have in your stash and everything you may need to go and purchase when you go to the shop. The journal is where we keep track of the builds. So in this one, once again, I've got a little bit of a description about the book, and then I've also got a sort of helpful guide on how to fill out the different sections. So I've formatted it in a way that I like to write in all of my information. So we'll turn over, and you can see in here, when you start a build, you write in the manufacturer, the name of the kit, how much it was RRP, how much you actually paid for it, the scale, product code, and so on. You put in all your information. You put in some pre-build observations like, what does it look like? Is it got flash? Is it look like it's going to be a good build or a bad build? Then once you've started the build, you can keep track of any information, any notes that you needed to, I don't know, remember if something was bad or something was good. And then finally on completion, how did you find the build went? Did you enjoy it? And there are some final thoughts down here as well, which you can further add information to. There is some space up here, so you can write in what your paint scheme was, why you chose it, if you like it or whatever. Accessories, so did you get aftermarket transfers? Did you have to go and buy, I don't know, like ballast to stop it from tail sitting? And then there's a bit of a space here, so you can list everything that you've used to keep track of, you know, what happened, because sometimes I find I forget. So I've been using this is my actual desk copy here. You can see I've been working through that. So in here I keep track of everything that I've been doing, like the Panzer II from Tamio. It's got loads of information in there. Just keep track of everything as I go through. And it's really helpful for me when I'm actually creating video content, because it helps jog my memory. There's so much that might be going on with a kit that I really struggle just to remember everything when I come to do my builds. So, you know, you may see this appear in my video and I'll be like, oh yeah, I made this note or something happened. And I do find as well, because it's like almost like free, you can write what you want. I do keep a log of all, I number the builds as I go through, so I know how many I've built in a year. Obviously some kits more in depth than others, but it really depends on the project. So, you know, you just fill it up, keeps track, like this one, absolutely loads of stuff on this one. But I find this particular one to be like invaluable, and I have almost filled it all the way up. There's not much space left, so I will be starting on my second copy very soon. Just as a small point, towards the back there's a few extra pages just for notes, again if you wanted to write anything in that was relevant to your builds, and a few blank pages. And towards the back just a little bit of a sort of thanks for buying the book kind of thing. So yeah, those are my 3 books. This one is my most used, but the other 2 do sit on my workbench as well. So if you fancy having something that sits on your desk and you can just grab and write some notes in it or keep a track of it. I know that, you know, modern day and all, some people would prefer to do things electronically, and there are spreadsheets and other sort of databases which you can use, like ScaleMates has their own one where you can keep track of everything electronically. But there are some people like me who really like to just have that tactile element of being able to write it in. So that's what I've done. I've created these. And if you go onto Amazon, I'll drop a link to every single one of these underneath, but if you go onto Amazon, you'll see them on there. I've tried to keep the prices as low as possible. I don't get much money from the sales of these. I do get some. This is a great way for you guys to help support the channel at no real cost. Basically, you're buying a product and I get a kickback from it. But I have tried to keep the prices as low as possible so that they could be as accessible to as many people as possible. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining me on my much belated exploration of the books that I spent quite a lot of time actually writing down. There were a number of drafts, and I had to figure out how to do publishing on Kindle/Amazon. But yeah, it's been an interesting experience. And if you do happen to pick one up, or you've already got one, do leave a review on the webpage. It would be massively helpful. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I think I'll probably leave that one there. As always, a quick mention to my Model Club members for the extra support these guys give. Massive thanks to these guys on screen, and if you'd like to join them, take a look at the links in the description. There are, of course, other ways to help the channel, and again, that's listed below the video. The best way to support the channel for free, though, is by subscribing with notifications turned on, so you never miss a modelling upload. Finally, though, last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.